guitar, one-on-one LAW style. Hence the name, rhythm guitar. I mean, it's really about the pocket, the feel, the tenacity. It's the driving force alongside with the bass and the drums in any situation. Even if you never had a lead guitar player in your band, a rhythm can compensate for a lot of that. And, of course, credit to my legendary granddad, Sam Bluesman Taylor. I learned that firsthand because what many people don't know is that I started playing lead first because, of course, listening to my favorite songs on television, I always wanted to imitate what I heard. So usually it just went from what I call single file pickup or playing. So it's just like something like Peter Gunn to be. So you hear that, and it was very easy to pick up. But it was because of my grandfather I understood the importance of rhythm guitar because you need that to supply the lead with his background music. So if you got a lead guy, playing a solo, the rhythm is always there to keep the rest of the energy of the band going. So I prided myself on going to school on some of the other cats beside my granddad who played ferocious rhythm. And as many people know, on all those BT Express songs like Peace Pipe and Do It Till You're Satisfied and Energy to Burn, that's my granddad playing rhythm guitar on the first 5 or 6 albums of BT Express. So anything that you hear rhythm guitar wise, that's my granddad. So you can definitely learn and hear where I got a lot of my style from. And the funny thing about it is that he never taught it to me. It was something that I inherited once I learned my first few chords on the guitar. I actually give that credit to my uncle Tony T. Funk Austin, who played drums for James Brown. He taught me my first funk chord. I call it funk chord. It could be a blues chord as well. But the first chord was to a James Brown song called Can't Stand It, where it was boom, boom, boom. That's the first chord that I learned in general outside of the usual A chord, or that sort of thing. I was just pretty much learning as much as I can get in terms of rhythm guitar. So I started going to school on people like Tony Maiden from Rufus, so many different people. George Johnson from the Brothers Johnson, definitely. Freddie Stone from Sly and the Family Stone, ferocious rhythm cat. Thomas McClary from the Commodores. I mean, there were just so many guys that I listened to in terms of rhythm. I mean, Prince. I mean, the fun thing about Prince is that he's so known for his lead playing, people forget about his rhythm guitar playing. You hear it on definitely some of the greatest tracks like Sexy Dancer. You hear that, so you get that whole chugging kind of thing. Catfish Collins, Bootsy's older brother, who played with James Brown as well. Actually, he was an even bigger influence on me than most of the guys I just mentioned because he played lead and rhythm at the same time, which is kind of the style I demonstrated to you here, which is, that whole rhythm part right there incorporates a lead when I use my pinky. So that's almost like you hear two different guitars playing at the same time. So that's actually how I developed my style because of Catfish Collins, Jimmy Nolan, Cheese Martin, all the James Brown guitar players pretty much wrote the book on funk guitar, if you will. I mean, and I give them that kind of credit more than anything else because they were the ones doing it. Definitely Steve Cropper from Booker T and the MGs was another influence, and a very strong influence on me, of course, is Al McKay from Earth, Wind & Fire. These were cats who I always listened to in terms of rhythm, and they would just stay in the pocket no matter what was being played. Even if they played certain changes, it would still be something that went along with what was being played. I mean, of course, Ernie Isley, as much as he's known for his lead guitar playing, he was also a serious rhythm guitar player, still is. There's a lot of the strength in that, even if you're playing a minor 7 chord or a major 7 chord. Even if you just have a rhythm on that, it still has a certain feel. So you have that sort of thing going along as well. I mean, there were just so many people to listen to, but that's how I developed my style, and it's become pretty popular these days. And of course, I'm definitely not the first person to do it, but in my age caliber and in my demographic, I'm one of the only few cats that set up a chugging rhythm sort of style, especially with the fact that, as everybody knows, Lord does not play with a pick. So I really had to work hard and making sure that when I was attacking the strings and being able to play these different kinds of rhythm guitar chords, that all the strings were pretty much being played. So I had to, let's try a D, for example. So it's like, Some of y'all might remember that from, of course, Sex Machine. That's Catfish Collins once again. So you can pretty much hear where I got a lot of that rhythm guitar stuff from, and that's, those are the cats. I encourage all new guitar players, young or even older, who's just getting into it, that it really, really pays to learn rhythm first. Even though I didn't learn rhythm first, I'm telling other people it pays to learn rhythm first so you can understand how to go about playing your leads. I mean, there's always a different state of mind when you can play. I mean, Jesse Johnson from Mars Ain't the Time is a great example. Even Jelly Bean Johnson, which people don't know, that he's a ferocious guitar player in addition to being a hell of a drummer. There are just so many people to choose from and to sit down and listen to. And if you want colorful guitar playing, study a lot of country guitarists or even some of the greatest rock guitarists like Joe Walsh, Glenn Frey. They played awesome rhythm guitar and lead guitar as well. So it's a lot to draw from. Michael Cimbello, another guy, Steve Lukather, from Toto. Those guys played ferocious rhythm and ferocious lead in addition to that. So those are some cats to study. So rhythm guitar, it's all about pocket, feel, being able to kind of know where to go, if depending on what kind of song you're playing, just knowing the transitions and the ins and outs. And that's pretty much it.